Okay, we're on Kuftesim and Bays on the bottom, 4 lines from the bottom. Amarav. Amar, towards the end of the line. Amarav. Oin ben Pelas, Ishte Hitzilasai. Oin ben Pelas was around the time of Kairach. His wife saved him. How did it happen? Amalei, she told him, what do you care? V'ima Rabba Antalmida. If Moshe is in charge, you're the Talmud. V'ima Rabba, if Kerch's in charge, Antalmida, you're going to be the Talmud. It doesn't make a difference to you who's in charge. So why are you getting involved in this? Amalei, he told her, my Yavid, what should I do? Havai Bates. I was involved in the planning and the conspiring. And I swore that if they call me, I'm going to go and follow the call. I'm on their side.
Start with the Joe Lieberman. We have a president, vice president. So he lost, all upset. Comes home. So his wife tells him, in this house, you're still a vice president.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So he said, so he said, I'm stuck. Amalei, she told him, Yadana, I know the Kulu Knishta Kadishtaninu, the whole Klal Yisrael is holy, Helig. The Ksiv, like the Pasuk says, Kalei the Kulam Kadeshim, the whole Klal Yisrael is Kadesh. And therefore, they're not going to go and do things that are not sneistic. So therefore, Amalei, she told him, Tov, go back, I'm going to save you. Ashkisi Chamra, she gave him wine to drink, Varvisi, she made him drunk. Vignise Gavai, and she put him, she guarded him inside. She guarded him when he was inside. Oisfal Bava, she put herself by the door to the house. With Sasr Lamazye, and she uncovered her here. Called the Asa Chazia. Everyone who came and saw her, Hadar would go back because he had a lady, a married woman, with her uncovered here. Until in the meantime, eventually the whole Maisa happened, and the Kairach L'chodasi got swallowed up, and Ayman Pelas was not with them. Okay, that's the story of the wife of Ayman Pelas. Zakti Gemara, Itzi the Kairach, the wife of Kairach, Amrulay, she said to him, Chazim I covered Moshe. Look what Moshe is doing. You have a Malka. He made himself the king. Lachua, his brother Aaron HaKohen, Shavya Kana Rabbi. He made him the Kohen Gadol. Livnei Achuit, his nephews, Aaron HaKohen's sons, Shavinu Skani Dekana. He made them the vice Kohen Gadol. Yeah. He asked you Truma, if Truma comes, Amar Tav L'Kohen. He says that it should go to the Kohen. You also Meiser the Shakil to Aton. If Meiser comes, then you take your Levi, your Perach. So you get to take it. Still, no, you can't take the whole thing. Amr, he says, give a 10th of that Shumas Meiser to the Kohen. Not only that, the guy is Leila Masaychu. He cut off all your hair. He cut off all the Levium as part of the inauguration. Vavir Saral Klabasaram. They have to go and cut off all your hair. And he's joking with you, like kufsa is a piece of feces, a piece of right, like we had by the Gemara of Mashiach, the kufsa of the donkey of Mashiach. He's just looking. He wants to make you look bad, not look as good as him because if you're here. He told her, no, that's not right. That last time is not right. He also cut off his hair. She told him, Kivan the Kulu Rabusa Didehu, since he's the one in charge, he's the one totally in charge. Amr, he said, Nami Thomas Nafshi and pushed him. Yeah, I can go along with them. It's kedai for me that I go and have my hair cut off also. So that I'll won't have tainus. They won't have tainus on me for not doing it, but still I can afford it because I'm in charge. Vaid, and also she's the wife of Karach continuing. The Karmelachu, he tells you, Avdisu tchel to make tchelas on your tzitzis in the corners of your begadim. Yisak adaytech tchel tchashiva mitzvah. If the tchelas is a mitzvah, apin glimi the tchel to take an entire shirt of tchelas v'chasinu lekulu mesiftach and cover your chabura in your shiva. Hainu diksiv and wear that instead of the tzitzis. And that was the time, one of the times that Karach had against Moshe, and he got it from his wife. And Zakti Gemara, this is what the pasuk says: the wisdom of women builds her house. To wish to shalem b'pas. This is the wife of Empas. Divelos biyad terasenu.
That's the topic.
What was that?
What's the next topic?
What do you mean? Chachmas Nashim Ben Zbeisa, Zu Ishte Shel Ayim Bebalas.
What's the basic? Not going.
No, that's Ayim Bebalas' wife. That's the first Gemara we said. Vivels Biyada Terasena. The Gemara, the Hainu Diksiv is going on this whole last section. Vivels Biyada Terasena, and evil person with her hands, an evil woman with her hands, she will destroy it. Terasena, the pasuk is Zu Ishta Shel Kairach. That's the wife of Kairach. So the wife of Kairach caused his family to be destroyed. The wife of Ayim Ben Pelas caused his family to be saved. Yep. But pasuk says. Now we're going to talk about the Bnei Kairach for a bit. Vayikumu Lefnei Moshe Anashim Bnei Yisrael Chemishim Masayim. The pasuk continues Nasiei Eda. The what does it mean Nasiei Eda? Miyuchadim Shem Eda. There are the specific chashva ones of the Eda. Kriyei Mayid. What does it mean Kriyei Mayid? Shayu Yodim La'aver Shanim U'Kvei Chadashim. Mayid is the time, right? So they knew how to be over years and to decide the months, which we said earlier in the Masechta is a very chashva thing. Anshe Shem, we're talking about the Sanhedrin and how many people you need and who you need to be able to be Amar Shanim. Anshe Shem, what's Anshe Shem? Shayilem Shem B'chalalim. They were well known, the whole world knew these chashva people. So Pasuk says, Vayishma Moshe V'yipal Apanav.
What is the whole world? I mean, China, there was no China then.
So the whole world doesn't necessarily mean the whole world like we think of the whole world. But everybody knew that world, yeah. Vayishma Moshe heard V'yipal Apanav. He heard what they were saying and he fell on his face. In fact, what did he hear? Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani Rabbi Yonasan. Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani said in the name of Rabbi Yonasan, Shechashtu me'ishasesh. They chesed him of Eishasesh. Remember, like the pasuk says, "Vayikanu l'Moshe b'machna." The pasuk says that they were makana. It's a pasuk in Tehillim to Moshe in the machna. What does it mean Vayikanu? Everyone said, "Don't be Seiser with Moshe. I'm chesed him. He's going to be one Bimazana with you." And because of that, Moshe Shemra, Moshe Yikach His Oil v'Natalim Chutz L'Machna. That's why Moshe took his oil and planted him in Chutz L'Machna. Sure.
In the state of Zach. So the carbon. That's it. That's it. And that's what she brought the carbon.
So Moshe moved his oil to the Chutz L'Machna because he didn't want them to be cheshedim. He wouldn't be around their families. This speaks to the fact how a leader has to be careful not to be in a situation of potential scandal, potential chashash of a scandal. It also speaks to the fact, and this is something that we see even out of Yom Hazeh, that somebody who wants to be Mitzi Shemra on a leader, even if there's no basis whatsoever for it, you can be sure Moshe Rabbeinu was not being miyachid or doing anything inappropriate with these 250 men's wives, right? But they could say, even just this insinuation is enough to ruin a person's reputation.
The main problem is internet. One button you can go
yes.
around the whole world.
I know somebody who's involved in a very I know somebody who's involved in a very difficult divorce situation, in a divorce situation, each one thinks they're right, and each one thinks the other one is wrong, and probably they're both a little right, they're probably both a little wrong.
The lawyers make all the money.
Lawyers make a lot of money, but Al Kapanim, one side, somebody on one of the sides made a whole store, a website, a fake website, totally not true, with a billboard about the husband saying stuff that was just totally not true, just as more pressure, right? Like the person who I believe did it is Talmid Chacham. He for sure knew this Gemara, so he knew what to do. Okay.
It's terrible today.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Yep. Okay. Sag Gemara weiter.
Also, we always used to say that. You in the news see this guy died. It's like nothing to you. Well, the guy died in Shtetl. It was a big thing. This guy died within your arms. You felt it.
It's true. We live in a It's absolutely true. Okay. Moshe got up and he went to Dastan Avirim. Amr Shlakish. Shlakish says, what's Pshat? Moshe got up and went to them. Because they were in the wrong over here. They were the Rishayim, right? You're not machzik machlekes. The Amar Rav said, "Machzik machlekes over balav." Someone who's machzik in a machlekes is over a lav. It was so much so that Moshe Rabbeinu picked himself up and and went to Dasan Aviram to try to be Mevatel Machlokes before it could get too out of hand. It wasn't successful, but that's what he tried to do. So Rashi Amar, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't successful. It Dasan Aviram's fault. He wasn't successful. Ravashi Amar. Ravashi said, somebody who is called Machsim Machlokes is Roy Litztara. He's Roy to have Taras. It says over here, Biyad Moishaloi. The end of that pasuk is, and Yad Moshe. When Hashem gave Moshe the Simonim for the Isis to go to Parai and the Bnei Yisrael to show them that he was coming from Hashem, he put his hands in his chayk. So the hand of Moshe is a Taras, and we see from here that someone who's Machsim Machlokes is Roi to have Taras. Rabbi Yisrael Beis says, Kol achel kal malchus Beis David, somebody who argues, that he argues on the validity, disputes is a good word. On the Malchus Beis David, Roi lakishe nachash. It's Roi that a snake should bite him. It says over here, V'yizbach Adoniyahu was being murdered by Malchus. He made a carbon tzoynu vakram riyim evanai zechelas at the evanai zechelas. Ksevhasim, the pasuk says in Hazinu, by the voice of Hazinu, it says im chama zechli afar, with the anger, the poison of zechli afar is the slitherers on the dust, which is talking about the snakes. So you see that somebody who is, and it's the same shrach as zechelas, zechli afar and emanei zechelas. You see somebody who is chelik hamachs beis David, she's right that a snake should bite him. Amrav Chizder says, rabbi, somebody who argues on his rabbi. Over here, Rashi says, he like argues on his position. It's like he's arguing on the shchina.
Is it right to have this position?
Yeah. He's like arguing on the shchina. Shnemer, like Pasuk says, but Tzaisam al Hashem. Pasuk says that by Dasan Aviram were created, they fought against Hashem, right? What do you mean? They weren't going against Hashem, they were going against Moshe. No. When you go chelik al rabbi, it's like your chelik al shchina. Somebody makes a fight to argue with him, to make a conflict around him. It's like he's making a fight with the shchina. Shnemer Pasuk says, es Hashem. It wasn't as Hashem, it was with Moshe. No. When you do it with Moshe, it's with Hashem. Amar Rabbi Papa says, Kol Misraim al Rabbi, somebody who complains about his Rabbi, Rashi says that my Rabbi didn't treat me right, he didn't treat me properly, he did this to me, he did that to me, so it's complaining. It's like Misraim al Ashchena. Shneimar, the Pasuk says, it's not on us your complaints, ki al Hashem, it's on Hashem. So that's Moshe and Aaron said that to the Yidden when they were complaining about Moshe and Aaron. So you see that it's really complaints about your Rabbi is complaints about Hashem. Rabbi said, "Kol maharach Rabbi." Somebody who's mahar after his Rabbi. He's yeah, well, let's see the pasuk that he brings. Kilu maharach, Shechina is like mahar after the Shechina Shneimar. Vaydaber ambalikim of Moshe. The people spoke against Hashem and to Moshe, and what would they say? They said, "Lama halisunu mitzrayim." Why did you take us out of Mitzrayim? Lamas my midbar died. Midbar came lachem ein mayim v'nafsheni katzav lachem akleikom. So I think that the better translation is not. What word did you say? I think the translation is second guess. He second guesses his Rabbi, right? Hashem said, and Moshe said, "Let's take out of time. It's a good thing, right?" He's second guessing. No, that's not. Right? You did the wrong thing. So that's Maharach. Absolutely.
A large scale.
Yep. Okay, the pasuk says in Keheles, Yeshra, this is the beginning of the pasuk is down, the Gemara doesn't bring it down. Yeshra chili reisi tachas hashemesh. I saw a great bad sickness in the world. Oisher Shemer lebal of the wealth that's saved for its owner for his own bad. Oisher Sham Bal Vasa. Amar Shaka says that Oisher Shal Kairach. This is the wealth of Kairach. Kairach was a very wealthy person, and it was only led to his downfall. Pasuk says that the people of Kairach, the earth swallowed them, and all the standing that were by their feet. It sounds like produce, as Pashim Shan in the Pasuk. What does this mean? The Gemara Darshans, Amar Rabbi Lazar, said, "B'moyne shaladam." Yikum Hashem Ragleim is talking about a person's money, or the money of Dadas Kairach. Shemamide al Raglav, a person's money keeps him on his feet, keeps a roof over his head. That's why it's called Hayikum. So this was all swallowed up with the people of Kairach. Rabbi Levi says, "Masu gimel meis preides levanes hayu maftecha shel beis gnazav shel Kairach." The keys. Not the actual storehouses of the keys for the storehouses of Kairach were the loads of 300 light mules, the kulu aklidi v'kilpi the gilda, and these were all locks and keys that were made out of leather, so they weren't even made out of metal. They were less heavy, and still it was 300 mules to carry them. Now on the side there's a little hagah that says, brings down from the Rashbam Basra, that when the Gemara says 300, it's often lav dafka. The Gemara is trying to say it's a very large number, because but the point is, it was a lot. He was very wealthy.
Guys, 1 million, 2 million.
Right, so we're talking real money, right? Amar Rav Chama Bar Chanina says, Gimel Matmani es Hitman Yosef in Mitzrayim, 3 treasure houses, Yosef HaTzadik hidden in Mitzrayim, Achas Niskas LaKairach, one was revealed to Kairach, which is why he became so wealthy. The Achas Niskas what?
How was this house?
He found it, it was revealed to him, I don't know. I don't know. Achas Niskas Antoninus ben Asurius. What was Niskas to Antoninus? I assume was one of the Roman kings or something. And one is saved for the tzaddikim for the Asadavai. What? Yeah. Rabbi Yechon says, Kairach lemon blum lemon asrufim. The Gemara says an interesting machlekes. Rabbi Yechon says Kairach was not from the ones who were swallowed, and he's not from the ones of the people who were burned. In other words, the 250 people who brought Kairach got burned, and the Adas Kairach were, and all of their families were swallowed. The Kairach wasn't swallowed, it wasn't burned. Rashi says he died in the Magefa. It says that there was a Magefa there. Lemon blew him.
Doesn't Pasuk actually say that?
Hang on a second. Lemon blew and he wasn't swallowed, except the Pasuk says, Veskala Adam Asher LeKairach. Pasuk says, it swallowed them, their houses, and all the people that were Kairach. And the Gemara's Medayik, Rabbi Yechon was like, V'loi Kairach, not Kairach himself. V'loi Menasrufim wasn't burned, except the Echol Eish, when the fire burned, the 250 people. But V'loi Kairach. Kairach was one more than the 250 people. So he holds, Rabbi Yechon holds, he wasn't swallowed or burned, he died in Magefa. Mastisatan and the Bryce learned differently. Kairach Menasrufin Abluan. He was burned.
Magefa for like only one person.
No, there's a big Magefa then. Pasuk says there was a big Magefa then, right? That's what Aaron, right. So that's what the Pasuk is, the Gemara is saying, Rabbi Yechon held, and he died in that Magefa with everyone else who died. Right? And Aaron the Kohen then went with the Machta, right? Okay. So the Bryce learned the Kairach Menasrufin Abluan. He was burned and he was swallowed. Rashi says that first his neshama was burned with the 250 people, and then his body rolled and went into the earth when the earth opened its mouth. Now bloom, he was trying to bloom the earth swallowed them and Kairach. But Tifta Kairach says Pia, but Tifla Isim as Kairach. Menasrufim, and he's from the burned, Iksiv, the Eish Yatzim Eis Hashem, Vatechles Chamishim of Sayim Ish, and the Kairach was with him. Rashi says that it brings down one shot because there's S, an extra S. The S is Marba Kairach. So what's Rabbi Yechon going to do with this pasuk? Motiv Isim as Kairach, right? It's very meforish, right? This is what you're asking. Rashi says that Rabbi Yechon moves the comma. Rabbi Yechon says, Vativ Tachar says Pia Vativ La'isam. There's Kairach b'Maisa Eida, and Kairach died with the Maisa Eida. Okay, so that's how you learn. Amar Rav says, my Diksiv was Pshan in the pasuk. Shemesh Yareach, the pasuk in Chavakok. Shemesh Yareach Amad Zavula, V'Archi Tzecha Yalechu, L'Neiga Brak Chanisecha. What's going on over here? Pasuk says like the Gemara is saying like this. Melamed is teacher. We'll go back and explain it in the pasuk in a second. Melamed teaches us. Sha'alu shemesh ve'areich l'zvol. The shemesh and the reich went to that heaven in the Rakiyim of that are above. It's called the Zvol. And they went to the Zvol. Amr al-Fanim and said, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master of the universe, if you go and make this right to Moshe Rabbeinu, who's being mistreated by Korach, then we'll go and we'll rise and we'll set like we're supposed to. Then lav, and if not, it's not proper, we shouldn't go out. Until the Rebbeinu Shalom come out with 2 arrows on them. He told them, we had this recently, the Gemara brought down that the Malchim Mizrach Mayriv get up every morning and they bow to the sun, and you're not being Meicha to my covet, the Chavod Basar V'dam Mechisem, and you're being Meicha, the covet of Moshe Rabbeinu is the Basar V'dam. And Idna is up to Gemara to Maisa today, they don't go out until the Rebbeinu Shalom says, you got to go out, because they taka learn Musar from this. The Rebbeinu said you'd have to be Meicha on the covet of the Rebbeinu Shalom, so the taka don't go out now. But let's go back to the pasuk. The pasuk says, Shemesh Oreich Amad Zevula, the sun and the moon went to stop by the Rukiya that's called Zevul. For the light, your arrows make them go. That's the pshat in the pasuk. So you see that they were going to be meicha over here in Taka. They learned the lesson, and now they don't go until the Rebbeinu Shalom says you have to go. Teresh Rava says, Darshan, my diksiv what's pshat in the pasuk. When bria yivra Hashem afatza adam espia. If the Rebbeinu Shalom will create a bria, and the land will open its mouth. In Bria, Gehenim, if Gehenim is already created, Mutav, it's good. If Gehenim is created, it's good that you can make Korach go in. And if Gehenim is not yet created, give Hashem, please create Gehenim right now so that Korach and Chaladas can go in. Frak the Gemara, Lamai. What's it talking about over here? If you're going to tell me it means mamish to create Gehenim, but Hashem doesn't make brand new brias in the world. Ella Lekruvi Pescha, Moshe Rabbeinu was saying that if it's created and it's right here, good. But if it's created and the opening is somewhere far away, then Hashem should move the opening to here. That's not called Enkel Chadash Tachas Hashem. Pasuk says, move it over, to where, to be under Korach L'chol Adasei, and it opens up and swallows them. Pasuk says, V'nei Korach L'mesu. Tana we learn, Moshe Rabbeinu Amru, in the name of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi we said, Makam Yispatzer Lehem Gehenim. It was a place that was like fortified for them in Gehenim, that Hashem prepared for them, V'yashvu Alav, and they sat on that place, which wasn't so far down in Gehenim. V'amru Shira, and they said Shira. There's a machlekes if you say these words, if it's part of the Gersa or not. But our Gemara says it, so let's say it. Rabbi Barchana said, the one time, this Gemara we had in Bava Basra, Havaka Zilna B'orcha, I was going on the way. See what they said.
It's why you go to the place again before.
So this is probably talking about the Bnei Korach themselves. We learned earlier in the Masechta that the Bnei Korach went and learned Torah in Bnei Brak, I think it was, right? So this is probably talking about that generation, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We learned that. Yeah. They come back. That's what it is. You have to never give up when someone goes who becomes not from. That's I had a big machlekes in my family, extended family. I have a relative who's not from, it's not Shomer Shabbos, and he gave me a printout. He wrote a pirish a summary of the Ramchal's Kuf Lamed Ches Pesachei Chachma. It's heavy duty Kabbalah Sefer. Ramchal's Kuf Lamed Ches Pesachei Chachma, and he gave it to me to read. So I'm reading it, and some of my family, extended family, is like, "Hey, Tachan, he's not from. You can't read a Sefer." I think he is from. He's just waiting to figure it out. He grew up from, he's now not from, but he's still learning Ramchal's. There's hope, right? And you see from Bnei Korach, right? There's hope by them too. Amar Rabbi Barchana.
Master with the Lavash Rebbe, that even before he became Rebbe, anyway, in 770 he showed a love from an Afro. And he wasn't sure whether he was doing the right thing or not. Maybe he should ignore them. Ignore them. Maybe you have them. He went to his father on the Rayats. He says, what's the right way to do? So if someone has six sons in the family, he's the most kind of that one. It's the same thing over here. The person who was sick, he needs the most attention after you.
Yeah, masking.
That's one reason the Rebbe got they gave him a key because it was Moshe never told him.
And he's very successful. He's very successful. My sister-in-law came from through Chabad. Yes, that affected me personally. Okay, it's very fine person.
To me, you don't have salt.
Yeah. Amar Rabbi Baruch Chana said, Zimna Chadav Ka'ilsa Ilna Baruch I was going on the way. Amar Yehutaya, this Arab merchant, said to me, Ta akam va'achilach murid karach. And I'll show you the place where the people who were swallowed up by karach, where they are. Azal he went. Chaza, he saw, Trey busy, 2 cracks in the ground, and there's smoke coming out of them. Shakal Giva, so this merchant, Shakal Giva Dimra, he took a clump of wool, and he soaked it in water, and he stuck it in the tip of a spear, and he stuck it into the hole. And it got singed. That's how hot it was. Even the wet wool soaked with water got singed. Amar Lei, and he said to me, this Taya said to me, Atzis, listen, Ma Shamet, what do you hear? The Shabbos, and I heard the Havuka Amri Hachi, and they were saying like this, Moshe v'Torah Siyam, Moshe and his Torah are true, Vehem Badam, and they're liars. Amar Li, and the merchant said to me, Kol Tlas Yemin Mahajul Huganim, each 30 days, the Gehenim brings them back here, like meat in a frying pan. Rashi said it keeps on getting shaken around. Rashi says that this merchant came a couple of times on the 30-day mark, and that's how he knew it was there every 30 days. They say like this, okay, so the more weiter. Dar midbar in them chilik lam ba b'chulu. Dar midbar doesn't have a chilik lam ba. Tanar rabban learn. Dar midbar in them chilik lam ba. The Dar midbar don't have a chilik lam ba. Shneimar like the pasuk says. Bar midbar azay yitamu v'sham yimusu. In this midbar you'll finish, and there you'll die. So it's a double lashon. Yitamu b'olam hazay. You'll finish in this world. V'sham yimusu b'olam haba, and you'll die in the world to come. The Aimer, let's change the gears to the Aimer. The Aimer, it says, pasuk in Tehillim that we say in Kabbalah Shabbos. Pasuk starts, Arba'am Shana Akaf for 40 years I fought with the generations. That's talking about the Dar Midbar. And then it says, Asher Nishbati Be'api, I swore in my anger, Mivayna Menuchasi, that they won't come to my Menucha. They won't come to El Mabah. Divrei Rabbi Akiva. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. Rabbi Eliezer says, no. Ban Hain, it says inside Ban Hain instead of Hain Ban. Ban Hain Lalamabah, they will come to Lamabah. Nevertheless, Pasuk says, Isvuli Chasidai, gather for me my Chasidim, Karse Brisi, those who Ali Zevach, those who who made a bris, made a covenant with me with Karbanas. And Rashi explains, Pasuk says, Karsi Brisi Ali Zevach is talking about the Dara Midbar who brought Zvachim, Vayizbuch Zvachim Shlamim, Pasuk says, and also Vayizra Kalam Vayemer Hine Dam HaBris Asher Karsten Hashem Imachim Vayshavin Ascended Israel. So they had the bris, they brought Zvachim to Hashem, the bris with Hashem. So they do, and Pasuk says, "It's for the Chasida. You gather to me my Chasidim." So they will do tshuva. They will get El Mabah. Elamani Mekayim Shenishmati De'api. So he says, "What's Pshat the Pasuk Shenishmati?" So he says, "No, it's Punkt Fakert from here." Rabbi Akiva said, "De'api Nishmati. I swore in my anger because I was angry, but now I'm not so angry because and I changed my mind." That's what the Pasuk is saying. So Rabbi Akiva said, "No Elam Mabah." Rabbi Eliezer says, "Yes Elam Mabah." Rabbi Shua and Karchaimer, they never Pasuk Zel can I be there Saban. The whole pasuk Vesuli Chasidai that Rabbi Eliezer says is talking about Dara Midbar has nothing to do with Dara Midbar. What is it? It's talking about the coming generations. Vesuli Chasidai, when it says gather from my Chasidim, Ilu Tzadikim Shebechal Dar V'Dar. These are the Tzadikim of every generation. Karse Brisi, the ones who are Kairis bris with me. Edu Chanani Mishal Vazaria, some Shemasra Atzman Sakiv Shanesh. They get highlighted over here. Out of all the tzaddikim of all the generations of until them, they were meister themselves Sakiv Shanesh. That's Karse Brisi. Ali Zevach, what's Ali Zevach? Karbanis. These are the people who made themselves karbanis. Either Rabbi Kiva v'Chaveirim, these are Rabbi Kiva and his Chaveirim, Lasar Rabbi Malchus, Shematru Atzim l'Shchita al Demetara. They're meiser themselves for Shchita because of to keep the words of the Torah. So nothing to do with Meisei Midbar. Rabbi Shimon ben Nasi, Rabbi Shimon ben Nasi says they come like Ta'al Mabah, and he's agreeing with Rabbi Yezer, but he's saying Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha said that you don't have a raya from that pasuk. He's bringing another pasuk. Shenema the pasuk says, "If tu Hashem Yeshuvon, those who Hashem redeemed will return. Uvo Tzin Brina, and they'll come to Tzion to Yerushalayim with Brina." What's if tu Hashem? Who got Hashem redeemed? These are the Yidden who went out of Mitzrayim. The Dara Midbar, they were redeemed from Parai. Amar Rabbi Bachan, Amar Rabbi Yechon, Rabbi Bachan said name Rabbi Yechon, Shavka Rabbi Kiva l'Chasidusay. So Rabbi Kiva left his Chasidus. The Gemara is going to say later on towards the Van Lamad, where Rabbi Kiva was said good about Klal Yisrael, and over here he said no, the Dar HaMidbar will not come to Klal Yisrael. Why? Why did he leave his Chasidus? Because there's another raya that you could bring that the Dar HaMidbar Taka would go to Olam Haba. Remember what the pasuk says. Excuse me. Go and call out in the ears of Yerushalayim, saying, the Navi says to Klal Yisrael, Zacharti lach, Hashem says, I remember chesed l'rayach, the kindness of your youth, Amos kul le'sayach, lechtich achrei b'midbar, b'eretz le'zruah, that you went after me in the midbar and eretz le'zruah, and that's going to be discussed for the gul of Klal Yisrael later. Now, if in the schus of the Dar HaMidbar they could come to the later generation could come to Geula, hey, Matzman Lekoshkin, for sure they themselves could come back. And therefore you have another raya from here that the Meisei Midbar Taka do have a chelek l'olam haba. Okay, Mishnah continues. Mastisa. Aseres Shvatim, the 10 Shvatim that Sanhedrin was Goyla, so they were not. They did not keep to the Torah. They're not asid to come back. Remember, like what it says, Hashem threw them at Eretz Acheres.
Why?
What was wrong?
Yeah, why would it says that before?
They were oiz of the Torah. They left the Torah. That's why they went to the Gulf. Yeah. So Aseres Shvatim im nasid l'achzor. They're not going to come back. Remember, like what it says, Hashem sent them to the other land like this day.
So we had a Gemara that said that somebody went to find them.
Very good. So you're talking about the pasuk with Yirmiyah. So look at Rashi. Rashi says, Ein asidim lachzor on the Mishnah Mimach Shigalu. V'hada amin b'Gemara. What we said in the Gemara, the Yirmiyah Echziron, that Yirmiyah brought them back. V'esh Echziron kulam. Ela miktsasam Echzir. He only brought some of them back. Okay.
So the Tshuva.
Some of them had just the Tshuva and came back, but most of them did not. So what pasuk says, it says Vayishlich Me'eretz Acheres Kayom Hazeh. Kayom Hazeh, like this day. Just like a day comes, and once it comes, it doesn't come back. Sunday is Sunday, and then you're gone. You're into Monday. It's gone. They also went, and they're not coming back. That's what Rabbi Kiva says. No, it's like this day. What's like this day? The day gets bright, and it starts off in the morning, gets dark, then it gets bright, it gets dark in the afternoon again, it gets dark at night, and the next day comes, it gets light again. Is so too that Aseres Shvatim that it was dark for them, like that part of the day. I see the Lahar Lab will be light for them. And Rashi explains that it's Taka, they Taka were Rishon, but their children and their grandchildren, they can do tshuva and they'll come back.
It's interesting, 12 Shvatim, 10 left.
Well, Sanhedrin sent them out. They didn't leave because they wanted to leave. Right? But it is, we'll see in the Gemara, it's brought down that they Taka, we had a Gemara earlier in Daf Tzadik Dalet Amud Aleph, that when they went to the Gullus, they said bad things about Eretz Yisrael. That was also a time on them. Zakti Gemara. Kan Rabban Rabban learned. Aseres Shvatim, the 10 Shvatim, inam chelek l'olam haba. They have no chelek to Olam Haba, and there is a gersa on the side that tracks the Mishnah that says not inam chelek l'olam haba, but it says inam asidim lachzor. They're not going to come back. Shneim, like the pasuk says, "V'yitchem Hashem mi'al masam." Hashem removed them from his land, ba'afu v'chem v'kesef gadol, and with anger. And Afachim and the Kesef Gadol are 3 Lashonos of anger. So now the word Darshans. Hashem removed them from on his land in this world. That's how Rabbi Kiva learns. So Rabbi Kiva L'Shitasi in the Mishnah, no Elam Haba for them. Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda is Kfar Akka Yomer Yishim Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda from Akka, he said in the name of Rabbi Shimon, Imasem came as that. No, this is what it means came as that. Imasem came as that in Al-Chizrin. If their actions are like today, when they're getting punished and they're still doing bad, they don't go back. But if they love, they do tshuva, choshen, they could go back. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, he says, it's not even totally. They're mamish coming back. Shneimah the pasuk says, Bayemu on that day, Yitakum Shofar Gadol, will be blown a big shofar. What? And the pasuk says, Avoidim Be'eretz Ashur, and that's talking about the ones that Sanhedrin was good.
Interesting, Gemara doesn't bring that down.
Well, that's what the Geimer means.
What?
That's what the Geimer means. That's why you always want to look. That's why these new... Yeah, that's the end of that pasuk. Pasuk says... where is it? Yeah.
That sounds weird. It's a
old song. But by the way,
as a rule, when it's a geimer, means that you learn from less part of the pasuk.
Right.
It's just one point. You learn from what it says, not.
That's why it's so helpful. These new Gemaras that they print the whole pasuk over here on the side.
I know.
Yeah.
Mine never had it.
No. That is true. That's absolutely true. I used to have a Tanakh next to me in yeshiva for that reason, so I could look up the pasuk. By the way, Rashi says that when it says Vanidachim Beretz Mitzrayim, that's a Dar HaMidbar. We had a machlokes about the Dar HaMidbar also. So Rabbi Shimon Yehuda Shkaraki said the name of Rabbi Shimon would be talking about the Dar HaMidbar also, that they tackle wood. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi would also be saying that they would go back to Al-Mabah. Okay, Zakmar Viter. Rabbi Baruchanan, Rabbi Yechanan, Rabbi Baruchanan said the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Shafka Rabbi Kiva Chasidus say. So Rabbi Kiva left his Chasida. Shneimah like the pasuk says. You have another pasuk, a raya that could say that they tackle do have Al-Mabah. Shneimah the pasuk says, Halach v'karasas advar me'ilat safina. Go and call out these things to the north. The Amartin should say to the north. To the north. Safan is the north. Yeah. The Amartin they say Shuva Meshuva Yisrael Nam Hashem. Do Shuva.
That's hidden.
Yeah, no, I don't think that means over here. Yeah.
The person has money to find it, you should hide it.
Right. I don't think that's what it means over here.
No, yeah.
But Marta Shuva Meshuva Yisrael Nam Hashem, and you should say Hashem says do tshuva Yisrael. Right? She says, should learn from this that the pasuk is saying that all Klal Yisrael do tshuva. And I won't put my face against you. Because I am a chassid. No, Hashem says Hashem. And I won't keep a grudge forever. So again, you see from over here that you have the Chasidus I'm sorry, we're going to see soon what Rabbi Kiva's Chasidus is, but you see over here there's the Chasidus of the Rebbeinu Shloim, Ki Chasidani, and then Hashem is going to have all Klal Yisrael to tshuva. Now, my Chasidus say, what's the Chasidus? The Tanya you learned in a Brisa. Tane b'nei Rishi Yisrael, the sons, the children of the Ketanim who are children of Rishon, but they're Rishon of Klal Yisrael. Ein ba'alam mabah. They don't come to the Mabah. Shneimah the pasuk says, "Kini ayoin ba." The day comes, boyer ketaner, burning like an oven. Boyer calls zaydim chaleisi rishakash, and all the people who do averos and evil will be like straw. V'la ta'isam hayam mabah. And the day that comes will burn them. Amar Hashem tzvakais. Hashem says, "Asher lo yasav lehem." It won't leave for them sherish, a root v'ana for a branch. So what does this mean? Sherish v'ana maseh, v'ana v'ana mabah. A sherish in this world, excuse me, and an anaf in the world to come.
It says Katanim, B'nai Rishi Yisrael means the Katanim. It's talking about the actual Shayim.
No, it's talking about the Ketanim because it says Sheresh, and well, one second, hold the thought. It says the Sheresh V'Anaf is talking about the children and the branches. The root and the branches is talking about the children. That's why we're talking about the Sheresh and Anaf. So Rabbi Gamliel learns that even the kids, if they're the kids of Risham, they won't have a chelik l'olam haba. Rabbi Kiva Eimer Bam Hein l'olam haba. Rabbi Kiva says they will come l'olam haba, and this is with Rabbi Kiva's Chasidus, because you see he's going to be merachim on Klal Yisrael. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, Shemer Yimlam Tzchas. Shemer Psalim Hashem. Hashem watches the Psalim. What's a Pasi? Shekakar b'Krach Hayam linuka pasya. In the Krach Hayam, we call a kid a pasya. So you see, Hashem does watch the kids. Hashem will save the kids.
Look up Pasi. Pasi was touch what?
Usually we say a Pasi is a fool. But Rabbi Kiva is darshaning in Krach Hayam, we call a kid a pasya. So when the pasuk says Hashem Psalm, it's talking about the kids. Hashem watches the kids. So a kid didn't do anything, Hashem's going to watch him. It's not his fault that his father is a rasha. Va'aymer, and pasuk says Gudu ilana, cut off the tree, chavlai, and destroy it. But ikr shashayi ba'arashvuku. The main roots leave in the ground. So you see, these are the small kids that even though the fathers don't have a chelik l'olam haba, they'll have a chelik. Ve'lamani mekayim. Yeah. Ve'lamani mekayim. What are you going to do with the pasuk where Yazav lam sheresh v'anav? What we said, that's talking about the kids. No. The Rishaim, they won't have a branch or a root. That means that Hashem won't leave a mitzvah or even a tiny part of a mitzvah that they did in this world, that Hashem doesn't give them the reward in this world, so that in Olam Haba, there's nothing. They have nothing coming to them in Olam Haba. Davar Acher, Sheresh is the neshama, V'anaf Zagaf. The Sheresh is the neshama, and the Anaf is the guf, but we're talking about the Rasha himself. That the Sheresh is the neshama because that's what supports the guf, and the Anaf is the guf itself. But that's the Tani Risha B'nei Yisrael. Tani Risha Evdei Kachavim, Divrei Hakol, Ein Bo Olam Haba. Everyone is masking, they don't come to Olam Haba. And
is that Pashut?
What?
Is that a Pashut?
It's not a Pashut because we say we had a machlekes before by Gedolim of who are not Risham, that whether they come to Olam Haba or not. So it's fair to ask, what about the Ketanim of Risham? And Risham will not. What about the Ketanim of Risham? Rashi says that I didn't make it up.
Someone else did that.
Yeah.
That's all God will do.
Yeah. Now the girsa over here, Rashi changes the girsa and the Goyin changes the girsa, takes out the words V'Rab Gamliel. So Divrei Kol Ein Bo Olam Haba. Everyone agrees they don't come to Olam Haba. Nafka Lei, because we learn them V'Atoivad Kol Zeichon Lamai. Pasuk says that they lost any remembrance of them. So that the Ketani Risha of the Kachavim, they tacked it onto the Chelik l'olam haba. Itmar. Now we're talking about Ketanim and Olam Haba. So Mara says a question. Katan imsa b'olam haba. When does a Katan get a Chelik l'olam haba? At what point does a Katan zeicha? Rav Chiv, they talk about this a lot in Brissa. People speak about Bris, they speak about this. Rav Chiv, Rav Shimon Rebbe. Rav Chiv, Rav Shimon Rebbe, and like this, Chanam Rav Shasha Nolan. One says the time he was born, the Chanam Rav Shasha Sipar. One says from the time he speaks. Mandam Rav Shasha Nolan, the one who says from the time he's born, Shnemar Yavoy Ve'Gidu Tzidchasei L'Am Nolan. They'll come and say his tzedakah to the nation that is born. So once he also, then he did it. So once people is born, they're getting the tzedakah, they're getting Olam Haba. And the one that says from the time he talks, the pasuk says, Zeri Avdenu, they'll make the children, Yisupar LaHashem, speaking to Hashem, Ladar, and then they get to Ladar Dar, they have a remembrance afterwards, they get to Olam Haba. Itmar we learned. Ravina Amar Ravina argues. Yishash and Mizrah, from the time that they became implanted in their mother. Except Zera Yavdenu, from the children, from the Zera, from the point of Zriya, that's when they'll serve him. Rav Nachmar Yitzchak Amar, Yishash Shemimel, from the time of the breast, this is what people speak about at a breast. Except Ani, I am poor, Vigava Minoyar, Nasasi, and my body, from when I was young, Nasasi Emecha, and I carried your fear on my body, which is after the bris milah. Then Afuna, then I was able to go onwards. So you see, from the time of the bris milah, that's what happens. Tanu, we learn Mishum Rav Meir and then Rav Meir Mishash Yemer Amen. By the time that a kid says Amen, Shenemar Pischu Sh'arim V'Yavai Gaitzadek Shemer Amunim, that the gates open of Olam Haba, and the nation of the righteous nation will come in, who are watch Amunim. Atikra Shemer Amunim Al She'emer Amen. He says Amen, and this is why in Klal Yisrael for many years, when the kid first says Amen, the mother and the happy are very happy. Mother and the father are very happy because according to Rav Meir, that's when he says Olam Haba. Bez Hashem will continue tomorrow. Shkayach.